Welcome to the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets. You'll hear from players, coaches, broadcasters, and writers that cover the NFL daily. The New Orleans Saints podcast starts right now. Here's your host, Erin Summers.
Welcome into the New Orleans Saints podcast. I'm your host, Erin Summers. We have a jam-packed Friday episode, not only because it is the first Friday before the first game of the season. Saints taking on the Arizona Cardinals, 12 o'clock at the Superdome. Our legend of the game, Terron Armstead, will be there to get things started with the chant. He played 9 seasons for the Saints, was drafted in 2013, and I had the opportunity to talk to him today about his career with the Saints, what he loved about playing in the Dome, and about a couple of the offensive linemen on the squad now that he is really big on. I also bring in Josh Weinfuss. He works for ESPN and covers the Arizona Cardinals. So we'll have an interview with him to break down the game on Sunday, everything you need to know about the Saints' first opponent of the season. And I bring in this week's 50-50 Raffle beneficiary, Pat Van Berklio. He is the executive director of Feeding Louisiana. It is a great organization. We're going to tell you all about it and why you should get your 50-50 Raffle tickets. There's going to be tons of opportunities to get those tickets at the game, so definitely make sure you look out for that. We're going to kick this episode off with Terron Armstead. Terron, thank you for joining me on the New Orleans Saints podcast. It's great to have you back in the building. When you approached the building and walked through the doors again today, what were the emotions like?
Yeah, well, first, I appreciate it, Erin. Thanks for having me on the Saints podcast. It was so many emotions and memories and thoughts came to mind. Like even when I just on my way here, driving down Airline, like before getting to the building, and then turning in and I walked through the gallery at the front entrance. Yeah, see all the pictures of Drew Brees and Mr. Benson and the ring, the trophy. Just brought back so many memories. Then walking through, like I know where everything is. Like I never left. So great. It was great. Going to the training room, the locker room, being on the field, just bringing back so many memories. I was here for so long. This place means so much to me. Very emotional.
Yeah. You were just speaking to the media about some of those emotions and how much pride you take in your last name and your legacy. What legacy do you feel like you left here?
Just to be able to show the resilience like this city is built on. This city has faced so much adversity, so many hard times and challenges, but to still find a way to persevere and celebrate and just dance and have joy and have great times, like keep the good times rolling, or let the good times roll.
Right,
it's
there
like
it is.
This city has that in a way that no other place exists, and I feel like I adopted that into me and to my family. So just to leave a legacy of, we have really good football teams here, and I was a captain of a lot of those teams. So just being a part of that and a part of a lot of win and a lot of success, even though we weren't able to get the ultimate goal of a Super Bowl, a championship, we had great times, great memories, and great history now.
You said that the accolade of those 7 years that you were a captain was what you were most proud of. Why?
It's the most impactful, really. Like a Pro Bowl or All-Pro, that's an individual accolade. But being a captain, it's a team captain, you know what I mean? So that's 50 plus 60 guys, so it means so much to have that, to be voted, to be nominated as such, to be one of those guys looked to as a director, a guide, or be one to lead the direction of the team, hold people accountable, be the example. So it's hard. It's hard to be a captain and be under that microscope of your peers, because they're looking at you to lead every day. They're looking at you to be that example every day. So you have to practice a certain way. You have to show up to the meeting room a certain way. You have to be attentive at all times, because the young guy across the room is looking at, hey, if they're not watching or paying attention, then I don't have to. You know what I mean? You can't never let that become the norm. So you always got to be that example.
How have you seen some of the players that you played with become that for this team now? Because they were a little younger then, but
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara, Cam
Yeah.
Jordan, some guys that you played with, there are those people in the
Yeah.
locker room now.
For sure. So we got Cam J, DeMario, like those. We were captains together for several years. But AK and Eric McCoy, now since I've been gone, those guys too have taken over that torch and leading the team and being the voice. I love it. I love it. You know what I mean? That means that they are holding the same values and same principles. They're keeping that level of expectation to the highest level, which I know they do. And that's the way. Like if you don't have that, if you don't have proper leadership or proper guidance, direction, you won't have many chances to be a really good team.
You were the guy though that started the I'm going to go in the community every Tuesday thing that Cam does now, which is so impressive. But when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, I thought that was a Cam thing. I didn't know that it was.
I won't take his credit.
Okay.
It was Cam. It was Cam. Cam was everywhere. My rookie year, I saw him everywhere for the first few weeks. And that's when I jumped right in. I'm like, yo, how is Cam, or who is Cam talking to go to this school, to go to that, you know what I mean? So then I got connected with Lish. And she sent me everywhere. So me and Cam, literally every Tuesday, every off day, we were at a different school, a different hospital, some type of event, some type of engagement, just to be amongst the fans, be amongst the people.
What is your foundation doing right now?
Mainly my foundation, we're kind of focused on the community center I have in my hometown of Cahokia, Illinois. It's in the East St. Louis, Illinois area. And the goal and what we're most focused on is financial literacy, life skills, and character development. So not things that they're necessarily teaching in school, in traditional school. We're more so getting into the business side of the world and of life, and also the character development on respect, self-respect, and respect of others, from a proper handshake to eye contact and public speaking, all those type things, things that can be really impactful once they leave grade school.
Can I go to this school?
Can
I learn some financial literacy, because I need some help? They don't teach that in schools.
They don't. It's crazy to me.
So that is really important, and I think that's really cool that you're doing that. For you, going back in the Dome on Sunday, being highlighted as a legend, have you let it sink in? Yeah.
It's emotional. It's surreal. I think about when I first got here with my rookie class, and we were at the Airport Hilton across the street from the airport, and we would call Mike Parrington if we needed to go to Walmart, because Uber didn't exist and DoorDash didn't exist. So like if we all needed to grab things for the hotel, Mike Parrington, who's the director of player personnel, he would, and that's 13 years ago, he would come pick us up, him and Casey Talley, take us to Walmart, take us to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To see the progression and development of my career and his career and so many others, like Josh Hill, my brother Josh Hill, he's coaching. He's on the coaching staff here. It's surreal. So getting back into the Dome for the first time in 3 years is going to be incredible, and I can't wait.
You haven't seen the new locker room?
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Anything. They kicked me out. They locked the doors. So, no, it's my first time back.
Well, now you have a key again.
Hey, I love it.
Right?
I'm not
Full
losing
time.
it again.
Okay, make your pitch of why you should be in the Ring of Honor.
I believe the Ring of Honor is a special, not just special, it is a representation of excellence. And not to say that I'm excellent or my career was excellent.
You can say it.
I won't say that. I won't say that. But my intent was always, and my reasons was for the betterment of others. I think that goes into a Ring of Honor, is like the reason why I set out the way I did. My intention every day was the growth and development of everybody else. And in order to do that, I had to make sure my personal growth and development was visible, that I came in this building every day to get better, and that I led in a way that was by example. As a player, I was nice. You know what I mean? I was a pretty good player, no question. I have some accolades and all that came from it. But just as a leader and what I stood for as a Saint, I think I represent the New Orleans Saints, the city, the team, the organization, the history, in a way that I would love to see my name up there.
Do I get a vote?
I believe so. I don't see why not.
Okay, good. Well, I'm going to vote for you then.
I appreciate that.
You have mine.
I appreciate it.
Sunday, they're wearing the gold jerseys, the end
Fire.
zones being painted gold. I know
Yeah.
Cam has been bugging people about getting gold jerseys forever. So it finally happened. What are you going to wear? Are they giving you a gold jersey?
I really don't know. I haven't seen Bum yet. Bum is he's the head equipment manager. And I haven't seen him yet, so we haven't talked about exactly what to wear, because I could come with my own drip now. T-Stead can put it on. But I will wear a jersey if they got they have a number 72. Mm-hmm. And so I think they'll have to let the refs know if I have on a 72 jersey at the start.
You don't want to go in there for a snap?
One snap, I'm locking whoever up. One snap would be crazy.
That's all that Alvin did during the preseason.
Yeah,
he goes out there for one snap and comes back in. He's like,
he played one snap?
One snap. You know, he's fine.
He's going to be ready.
He doesn't need any more reps than that. What made you and him so tight?
With AK, he's somebody that appreciates work, like hard work. Mm-hmm. AK doesn't like the easy way around nothing. So he saw me as somebody that he can rely on, that he can trust, that he know that I'll go about my job the right way, and my intent is his success. You know what I mean? Like, us up front on offensive line, our goal is the success of everyone else. We don't look for pats on the back. We're not looking for high fives and congratulations. If AK got 150 yards rushing, if Drew Brees got 300, 400 yards passing, we're great. Mm-hmm. We are silently. We go in the locker room, we shake each other's hand. Job well done. Let's do it next week. So AK, he's someone that loves hard workers and people that goes about this game the right way. No hidden agendas, no personal agendas. And we became really close off the field. You know what I mean? Somebody that I love as a brother, and that is my little brother. And he's not somebody that walks around calling people big bro. Like, that's not him.
Yeah.
I might be the only person. You know what I mean? He got that much respect for me, and I got that much respect for him.
It's funny because he's pretty quiet, keeps to himself in the locker room. When he speaks, though, you want to hear what he has to say.
Facts.
He's a really impressive player for sure. But as an offensive lineman, you obviously spoke about how you want them to be successful. AK, Breeze, the quarterback, running back. Is it tough for you though that no one ever talks about you unless if you did something wrong?
No, I think it's a part of the job at this point. You know what I mean? And I think O-linemen now, we're starting to get recognized. Mm-hmm. I said I'm done. But they're starting to get recognized now more than ever before, which is great, which is incredible, because there's so many that deserve it.
Yeah.
Like, the success of a lot of these teams do not exist without these linemen. You know? The Eagles don't do what they did to the Chiefs last year. Skill player to skill player, that don't happen. But O-line, D-line, the Eagles dominated the Super Bowl. So you start to see some recognition happening, and it's great. But that's not why we do the job. Like, we know that. We put our hand in the dirt because we want to get dirty. You know, we want to get down and get grimy. But you got a guy like AK, he makes your job so much easier because he only needs a slither of daylight. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he'll tell you that too. Hey, you just give me 1 second. I'm through there, you know? Mm-hmm. So, man, him coming in as a rookie, like you say, he's so quiet, but once he talks, you listen. Mm-hmm. He had that as a 21-year-old. It's something about him. He has an aura about himself that is special. Like, he's different. And you really can't explain that about AK. You have to leave it at that. He's different. Mm-hmm. So his rookie year, we got Adrian Peterson and Mark Ingram. Like, we got two very decorated running backs. And first 4 weeks, he didn't play, really. And then week 5, they traded Adrian Peterson, and AK gets in there the first day, and it's like, this kid is different. He's special. Just something about him, man. He's blessed.
You said that you put it on. You like to care about how you look.
For sure.
How about AK? You like his style?
It's also different. He has some unique looks, but no, definitely. He's way more strategic and methodical than people give him credit for because he don't say anything. But it's all planned out. Like everything that he wears and the things that he talk about, he has some ties there. It's relationships there. So he's only wearing certain brands that he has business with or, you know what I mean, some type of ties with.
Sure.
So it's not, you won't just see him throw on this Nike shirt and go out in public. Not happening.
Yeah.
Not happening. He's going to put on something that he's in relation with and it makes sense for him.
Yeah.
He's very strategic.
I saw what you wore for your retirement party.
Clean.
Yeah, it
Fresh.
was. That looked like a party.
It was.
Yeah, there were a lot of people there. How was that night?
It was incredible. Incredible. The turnout was insane. People that came down. Drew Brees came from like Hawaii. Coaches, I had Dan Roshar, who's the O-line coach for the Chicago Bears now. The head coach for the Dolphins was there. Like it was a special night. A lot of my family were there, friends. It was perfect.
Yeah. What's it like seeing Jari over here coaching the O-line now?
It makes sense. Jari was one of those voices and guys that I leaned on so much early in my career. And he taught me so much how to really dissect players on film and what to look for. I haven't talked to him yet so far today, but I will. That's the big homie. That's big bro for sure. Like Jari's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. They need to go ahead and let's get that done. Get that gold jacket. He is more than deserving. He's the best guard in football for way too many years. It's great. So that all those guys in the O-line room are benefiting from him being there.
I saw you stayed through Kellen Moore's presser.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, you were sitting in the audience like all of us.
Yeah. I don't have much experience with Kellen Moore. You know, I wanted to get a chance.
Doing some research.
outside of like what I've looked up, you know. That was my first time meeting him. So I wanted to get a chance to hear him speak, his thoughts, his process, and what he's going about and how he feels about Sunday. So it was great listening to him. I can see his energy. He's confident. He's confident. He knows he's good. He knows he's a good coach. He knows what to look for. He's excited for his guys, and he talked about some other guys getting opportunities to play because of injury or whatever. Like, I love to see that, his excitement, his energy. It doesn't tell you what Sunday will turn out or the season will turn out, but I can tell that his mindset and his intent is in the right spot. Yeah,
and I think we've felt that around here. There is a new, fresh energy, excitement in the locker room around the players. I think they like the scheme. Expect defense is going to look very different this year. And we're all excited to see what it looks like on Sunday. It is the 50th year anniversary of the Dome this season.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been around for a while.
Wow.
Do you have a favorite memory, or how do you even describe that place?
The Dome is just like the perfect representation of New Orleans to me. Because when I got here, or just being here for so long, the Dome means more to this city than any stadium does in any other state in this country. The Dome was a house to so many people during Hurricane Katrina, and it was open to the public, and people lived there. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's no other stadium, to my knowledge, have that type of history. So it's more than a stadium. Like, those people, that's home. That's a home address for a lot of people. Like, it means way more. So that place, for it to be still standing after Katrina and being the spot that housed so many and people live there for however long, it's just a special place, truly a special place. And I have a deep appreciation for the Superdome. It's
good to have you back here.
I appreciate it.
And I know a lot of the fans have great memories from your time playing here. Obviously, the media, I love how you reference everybody by name. You know, very personable. Is it great talking to you? And, you know, we're just really looking forward to having you at the game on Sunday.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it, too. It's going to be great. I'm excited. I get to lead the Who Dat chant. That's always been my favorite part of game day. Being at home is like, once that chant happens, the energy that goes through your body, like that electricity, it gets you going. Like you could be not feeling well, dealing with an injury. You hear that? Who that? All that's out the window. It's go time. So I can't wait to feel that. I might try to take somebody's helmet.
Have you done it before?
Yeah.
The chant? Yeah.
A couple times.
Right.
But not like this. Not season opener.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is different.
Right. Well, we have a left tackle here that I think looks decent. So I don't know if you can have his helmet.
I would try to grab somebody else's helmet. I think we need 71 to be at left tackle.
Yeah.
He's I like him a lot. That's an understatement. He's impressive. He got room to grow, which is great, but he's impressive. In all the preseason snaps that I've seen so far, his mindset too. He's looking to dominate and stop people, not just hold on and hopefully the ball is gone. No, he's stopping people. So it's gonna be great to watch him this first year and then watch his growth and development over his career. Yeah,
I think we've really hit a home run on both the ends now. Moving Taliese Fuaga back over to right tackle, over there next to Cesar Ruiz. They just sit there and laugh the whole game together. It's ridiculous. But they're really enjoying themselves out there, and it's been great having Eric holding things down at center. I mean, he is a huge part of that line. I have one favor to ask you. I have to interview Cam Jordan next week. You know how he doesn't stop talking.
Facts.
So we know everything about him that we're going to, there's nothing more.
Yeah.
So tell me something about Cam or something that I can ask him.
Cam is, like you say, you probably know everything about the guy right now. Cam is he's a serial entrepreneur. So he's big time in business and investments. He is a huge anime fan. So Dragon Ball Z, all those things. He was a big time gamer. So Super Mario Smash Brothers.
Okay.
I used to whoop on him. Chris Banjo used to whoop on him quite a bit. Craig Robertson. So he'll talk about that. He's gonna swear up and down he was the best, the greatest. So if you bring that up,
well, we have a receipt right here.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to whoop on him. He was the best ping pong player I had ever seen at one point.
Okay.
And then I kind of took over that ring too at some point. But we had a table here and it got serious. He used to smack Drew. Bad. Skunk. It's bad. So it's probably a few things that yeah.
Okay, that's very helpful.
Okay.
I know there's no ping pong table anymore.
I know. I saw. They got the little mini hoop still.
Yeah, they do, but it's terrible because the ceilings are so short, so you can have no arc on your shot.
You got to line drive that thing.
But they do. They are in there playing a lot. Before I let you go, anything else that we can watch you on, hear you on? What do you got going on?
Since you mentioned it. So I have a YouTube show. I have my own podcast. It's called The Set with T. Stead. I air every Monday, every Thursday. You can find me on YouTube for my name, Terron Armstead, or T. Stead. It's The Set. We're talking O-line, D-line matchups. I break down what's really happening, the technique, fundamentals. Talk about everything else that's going on around the league, too. I have guests on. Cam Jordan has been a guest already so far. I've had Chris Collinsworth recently. I've had Robert Hunt, multiple Pro Bowlers. You know what I mean? So it's been great. So please come like, share, subscribe to The Set on YouTube. It'll be greatly appreciated.
Awesome. You got another follower right here.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Who that?
Great conversation with Terron. And as I said, really looking forward to seeing him at the Dome, getting things going Sunday before the game. Now, for the complete breakdown on that opponent, the Arizona Cardinals, let's bring in Josh Weinfuss, the ESPN beat writer for the Cards. Josh, thank you so much for joining me back on the New Orleans Saints podcast. I think it was 2022 when we talked before because the Saints played at Arizona, but now we are opening up the season here in New Orleans against the Cardinals, and things have changed a lot for both teams. So we got a lot to get into here. Josh, how are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to a fun little weekend in the Crescent City. So excited.
Yeah. Talk to me about the Cardinals this year. Last year, 8-9, mediocre season. This year, there's this, I don't know, subtle hype about the team being a potential playoff team.
Yeah, so last year was interesting because they peaked a little too early. So let's back up. So Jonathan Gannon was hired in 2023. The last time the Colts, or sorry, the Saints and the Cardinals played in 22, Cliff Kingsbury was the coach out there. He was fired after that season. Jonathan Gannon, who was the Eagles defense coordinator, was hired. And basically, they started a 3-year rebuild. And last year was year two of that. But by like middle November, they were sitting in first place in the NFC West. So they peaked just a little too early because after that, they played the Jets middle November, went on a bye, and then basically like fell off a cliff after that. And they just could not sustain. They were on like a 4-game winning streak. It just wasn't, and they could not sustain that. Well, fast forward to this year, the Cardinals overhauled basically their entire defense, starting with the defensive line. They added some pass rushers. They drafted 2 young corners. They're down their 2 of their starting quarterbacks or cornerback from last year because of injury. And they basically kind of retooled everything they do on defense. And that's where all this promise comes from. The defense looks very good. There's a lot of hope that this defense is going to be one of the top 4 or 5 in the league. I think that's going to be their calling card for a lot of the season because on offense, they didn't really touch much. And that's kind of the biggest question. You still have Kyler Murray's quarterback, Marvin Harrison Jr. is entering his second year. Trey McBride emerged as a bona fide superstar last year. So the offense didn't, and the offensive line basically is the same as it was a year ago. There was one new starter, but he was a backup last year. And the guy that started last year is now a backup this year. So a lot of familiar faces on offense. But the question is, will this offense be able to take that jump that they're hoping to this year? Will Marvin Harrison be able to make that year 1 to year 2 leap, like a lot of rookies do? But that's kind of the book on the Cardinals. Its training camp was very quiet, very underwhelming in the sense that there weren't no drama, right? Which was good. But the hope is that this team can get up to a quick start to their schedule. They have a fairly, on paper, easy looking schedule in the first 6 games. But to do that, the defense will have to play as good as it can without having really played together during the preseason.
And that's the key for a game 1 is you don't know what these teams are going to look like yet, especially with the Saints who overhauled things in the entire coaching staff. Systems are going to be completely different. The way that they look and run things is different. And then, as you mentioned, defense for the Cardinals different. Offensively, though, what would we notice or can we expect that's going to be different, even though the personnel is still the same for the Cards?
Good question. So the first thing I think you are going to see a bigger Marvin Harrison. He's added 11 pounds. He went from 209 to 220. He bulked up. I mean, he looks physically bigger, physically imposing. So that's the first thing I think teams will notice. And other than that, I think it's going to be kind of some slight tweaks here and there. You're going to see Kyler Murray maybe running a little bit more. He said this is the first time since his knee injury in 2022 that he feels completely healthy. So last year, there's some lingering effect from the injury that kind of slowed him down a little bit. But this year, he said he's free of all of that. He can kind of play unlocked and unleashed. So you might see a little more running, especially early in games, to kind of let the defense know that, hey, like, this is always going to be an option. You guys have to account for this early on. But beyond that, like Trey McBride he's coming off the best year of his career. He got rewarded with a 4-year extension that I think it was like 26 days, made him the highest paid tight end in NFL history. And then I think it was George Kittle took that title, if I'm not mistaken, from him. So I think for me, one of the big questions on offense is going to be who's going to be like the number 1 option in passing games. Is it going to be Marv? Is it going to be Trey? It's going to be 1A. Obviously, we'll see Sunday, but to me, that's kind of the biggest question right now.
Mm-hmm. And then you do have Zay Jones, a couple other receivers out there as well. And then the running backs in James Conner, he kind of leads the charge with the mobility of Kyler Murray. That's something that's been coming up for us all week. The Saints historically over the last few seasons have had trouble with the mobile quarterback. How comfortable are you seeing him be in that role and leaning more into what he can do with his legs?
Yeah, I think watching him since he got drafted here first overall in 19, like I think he's very comfortable doing that. I think this offense is very comfortable with him doing that. So the things is like there's 2 facets to his running. There's the off schedule plays, which are when a play breaks down and he kind of takes off because he's in trouble. And then there are the design runs.
Mhm.
So we'll see a mix of that. They've been working a lot on the off schedule stuff because once he leaves the pocket on an off schedule play, everything kind of has to work in concert with him, right? Like all the receivers have to know where he or have an idea of where he's going. At least they know which direction he's running, and they have to kind of go that way, right? So it's kind of like a scramble drill in practice. But then the design runs, I mean, those are pretty dangerous too, because then everyone on the offense on the same page, and they know like let's be real, he has video game speed, he has video game maneuverability. So if he gets out in any sort of space, like good luck to the linebacker or safety trying to stop him because he just puts on the juke and he has these afterburners that we've seen time and time again. Like he can just take off and very hard to catch. So it's gonna be trouble. It's gonna be an issue for any defense. But as you said, the Saints have they struggle with a mobile quarterback. This could be a long day for the Saints.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if the new Brandon Staley scheme, who from a 4-3 to a 3-4, is going to help in that regard. He says that, stopping the run is a big focus for them. But we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen all the defensive starters on the field together yet. Alontae Taylor is working back in, so it looks like we may see that this weekend. But there are a lot of unknowns still, and I think that's the one thing where people are a little nervous about, with the basing Kyler Murray in week 1, throwing that at this Saints defense, which we haven't quite seen fully yet. So it'll be interesting for sure. And then when you look at the Cardinals defense, you mentioned how different it is, and I think people highlight the acquisition of Josh Sweat and how good he's been over the years. How much of an impact is he going to have? Or is it just really in general, everything on the defense has elevated?
See both, right? Like he's going to have a huge impact because of his ability to be on an island on one edge of the defense and kind of just come off the edge and get to the quarterback. But then it's also going to have domino effect. Because what the Cardinals did this offseason is they basically rebuilt their defensive front. They added guys like Delvin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell. You get Darius Robinson back. He played in just 6 games last year as a rookie. And then they kept guys like Dante Stills, who's in his 3rd year, who's been a really good pro. Then LJ Collier coming off his top, or the best season of his career. So there's a lot of depth in the middle. Guys that are explained to me like it's going to look like a hockey game. Guys are going to come in line, just waves of fresh legs. But Josh Swift's going to be able to work off the edge, and then what do? Do you try to double him, and then do you kind of guys in the middle one-on-one? And then the other side, you have guys like Baron Browning and David Collins. So you leave them one-on-one because both those guys are capable of winning those matchups. So Josh Sweat's going to be kind of the focal point of that front 7. But what he does will also affect what everyone else does, and what everyone else does will also affect what he does. So it's kind of a good problem to have if you're the Cardinals, right? There's going to be a lot of playing off each other. Then you kind of take a step back in the inside linebackers. You have Matt Wilson, who's going to play more at the inside role that he had in his 2 years here. Then you kind of take a step back, and the only kind of stability in the defense from last year and this year are the safeties. Buda Baker and Jalen Thompson. Everyone knows what Buda Baker, all pro, all Pro Bowler, just extremely talented. The biggest question to me on defense will be the cornerback. Because the top 2 starters from last year, Sean Murphy Bunting and Star Thomas V, both hurt their knees. One Star did it in training camp. Sean Murphy Bunting during the offseason, so they're done for the year. And now you're replacing then guys like Matt Smelton, who started a handful of games last year, kind of grew as the season went on as a rookie last year. And then you have Garrett Williams, who in the base packages will be outside corners. But then you also have Will Johnson, 2nd-round pick out of Michigan, who was projected as a top 10 pick and fell. He's their nickel outside linebacker because when they go to nickel and dime, Garrett moves into the slot. A lot of Epson notes here, so please stop me if it's too much. You have Garrett moving into the slot, and Will Johnson, who's going to be playing at 3rd-round on Sunday, going outside, it's going to be a challenge because as any receiver knows, any quarterback knows you want to pick on the rookies. So that could be a field day for someone who lines up against him. But that's kind of the look in this new defense, but it all starts with, like you said, Josh Sweat, and kind of how he goes will kind of affect each level beyond.
When you look at what Jonathan Gannon is building there, how have you seen him change as the head coach or evolve with the team each season?
Very good question. Um, he's more comfortable in his role. And I think that often comes with kind of experience, but he's kind of found his place as that CEO of this team. He doesn't try to do too much. He's been very good about delegating responsibilities, which for a lot of first-time head coaches is a very hard thing to give up. You know, he told us this offseason, the first time he's ever said it was hard for him to hand off the play calling responsibility. Philly when they went to a Super Bowl lost to the Chiefs, but just having that control, he gave to Nick Wallace, the defense coordinator. He said that was hard. So being able to kind of have that self-awareness to hand off things that you want to do, he's really gotten better at that. And he understands kind of his role. Like he understands how he better understands, I guess I should say, how to kind of go around the team and how should this position group, how to handle this player and whatnot. Sorry, some guys walking around with a flashlight that just got right in my face.
I saw that.
Just he kind of has this better grasp at what he needs to do on a daily basis. He's always tweaking. They're talking about how he's making changes, they evaluate what they did, even like on a week-to-week basis. What worked this week? What didn't work this week? How to change that for next week? And then kind of on a monthly basis and on a yearly basis. So you see him kind of just be adaptable. And I think you need to be adaptable to succeed in this league. And there are a lot of coaches now and before him, I'm sure after him, that don't want to adapt. They don't want to change. It's their way or the highway. And that's not who he is. And he'll tell you that. Guys will tell you that in private. Some of his coaching staff will tell you that. So you've seen him kind of become more comfortable and kind of understand what it takes to do this job at a high level.
Mm-hmm. Coming into this season, Coach Kellen Moore talked so much about how you have to build it from the inside out and really hammering on the line play. I heard Gannon mention the defensive line play and how important that's going to be to get this team going this weekend. I mean, is that what it's going to come down to, is how or who wins in the trenches?
I wonder if all these coaches subscribe to the same coaching newsletter, because everyone talks about the trenches, right? Everything's won on the offensive and defensive line. And they're right. Everyone watched the Super Bowl last year and saw the Eagles just dominate up front. I think everyone after that set out, they're like, all right, this is what we have to do to win. And yes, I think this game will be one of the trenches. I think on both sides of it, right? If the Saints defensive line control the Cardinals offensive line, limit where Kyler can run and where James Conner can run, they're going to turn the Cardinals into a one-dimensional team, and that changes everything. The flip side, if the Cardinals defensive line can get to Spencer Rattler on a regular basis, that might, no pun intended, rattle him a little bit, and then that changes kind of what happens on the edge. That changes what happens with the cornerbacks, right? So that's this game and every game, but especially this game will be controlled up front, and that will dictate who wins 100%.
You mentioned making it one-dimensional, and the explosive plays from the Cardinals end offensively have come in the run game, not so much in the pass game. Do you think that that's going to be the case this year, or are we going to see some more maybe Kyler Murray trying to air it out a little bit?
So if I had that answer, I would be on my way to Las Vegas right now to put down a lot of money, because I just don't know, right? And I think that's the biggest play. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the biggest question mark heading into the season, because if he can take the year 1, year 2 jump, then we're going to see those explosive plays, which the Cardinals constantly to 16 yards or more. We're going to see those numbers increase a lot. Everyone says that how Kyler goes, so goes his offense, and that's true. But Jonathan Gannon even went further and said how the Marvin Harrison Kyler Murray connection goes will dictate the season. Mm-hmm. So if they can get going early and often, not just in week 1, but weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, then I think we're going to see this passing attack really take off. If they struggle like they did last year, I mean, your fans don't know this, but there are a number of times where you see Kyler's pass go that way and Marvin Harrison on that way. And the ball just, everyone's kind of like, what happened, right? It happened a number of times. So if they can eliminate that, then this passing attack attack can take off. If they can't, then they're going to have to rely on James Conner and Kyler Murray to tote the ball and try to get those big plays that way.
Yeah. Like I said, so many unknowns in week one. What have you heard from the Cardinals about the Saints and what they're keying in on?
Yeah. So the one thing we've heard a lot about is Brandon Staley's kind of his schemes, how he loves to disguise. He brings a lot of different looks. Um, Jonathan Gannon and Brandon Staley have been good friends since they were kids. They grew up in Cleveland. They grew up playing basketball against each other as kids, and that friendship's continued, right? And if there's anyone who knows Brandon Staley's defense well, it's Jonathan Gannon. So he knows exactly what to expect. Kyler Murray, he feels like he's seen, if not everything, he's seen a lot. And he knows teams will always come with wrinkles, but he's prepared for the disguise. He's prepared for the little tweaks for wrinkles. So everyone here is expecting a lot of different looks from that Brandon Staley defense. Like you've said a couple times, like there's so many unknowns in week one, especially with the new coaching staff and play callers. Like everyone knows how Nussmeier calls plays. They all know how Brandon Staley calls plays. They all know how good of a coach Kellen Moore was offensively. But until it's all put together, like no one had any idea. There's like 10 of these guys now. So there's still so many unknowns. Like they've gone back and watched film of all three of those guys, their former teams. And that's kind of where they are right now. They understand this defense is going to get after it. Obviously, Spencer Rattler doesn't have a huge body of work, so there's not a ton they can study on him. But and further guys on defense licking their chops too, playing young quarterbacks. But that's kind of what we've been hearing in the last couple of days.
I saw a quote where I think Gannon was asked about Kellen Moore, and he joked that he was 1-3 against Kellen Moore when they were both coordinators. So, the defense, Gannon's defense gave up, I think, 41, 51, 17, and 40 points to the Kellen Moore offense.
A lot of points.
Yeah, but like you said, we don't know if it's going to pan out the same way. Gannon's not calling the defense anymore.
Right, exactly.
And there's different people in different roles across the board on both teams. I asked one of our players, Justin Reed, about Kyler Murray because they have played each other in the NFL chess championship every past couple years. And I was like, do you heckle Kyler about that? Because Justin has beaten him for the championship the past 2 seasons. And he was like, no, but I should. That's a good point. He's like, I'm actually 5-0 all time against Kyler Murray on the football field and on a chess table.
If he doesn't use that, then somebody should, right?
Like, I know,
that's
right?
pretty good. That's some pretty good ammunition. Like Kyler's been playing chess. I knew starting a few years ago. He started playing chess in like elementary school, and he loved it, right? Like gets him thinking critically, like all this stuff, like just making football. But to lose to one player that many times in football and chess, that's a lot.
I know. I told him, I was like, you got to make sure like he sees you, like early, like pregame warm-ups, like just say hi. Like I got you. And he's like, okay, like let me know, please, let me know.
Be like 5-0. Yeah. Just a fuck up, right? Like,
yeah. So that's one thing I'm gonna have to follow up with after the game to see what the trash talk was, if any, between those two players. But I think we're in for a good one. I am excited to get the season underway. It's always one of the most fun weeks, and you've been seeing it, talking about it for a month now. And now you're actually going to see what everything looks like when it comes together. Hopefully it's not like a week one where you're like, okay, well, it's week one and there's a lot of mistakes we're going to have to clean up. Hopefully it's a well-oiled machine out there.
I have no doubts there'll be plenty to clean up after this week. It's crazy what you just said, how like you've been waiting so long for this. I mean, the Cardinals before the camp, I think it was like July 22nd. And now it's September 4th. Like, that seems so long ago. It's been a long time talking about this. It's been a long time. I mean, since the schedule came out in May, like you've been waiting for this week for a long, long time. So I'm excited too. Ready to get into it. And anyone who's around this game knows, like once the weeks start, like if the rings watch repeat, it's 17 weeks and it flies by. So kind of like let's enjoy it. Right? Like there's a lot to enjoy about the football, the players, traveling and watching these games. Like so. But yeah, there's going to be a lot to clean up. There's going to be a lot of messes. Not a lot of these guys have played in the preseason, so it's the first time like the Cardinals defensive unit hasn't played together. So we'll see how many tweaks they have to make at halftime and after this game. So might get a little ugly, but hey, football's back.
Yeah, that's a good point. Halftime adjustments could be really huge in this one too.
Yeah, real good.
Yeah.
And you know
Well,
what? The one thing we've also heard a lot of is the environment. Like everyone knows the Superdome is loud. It's crazy. I mean, Saints fans are among the most passionate in the league. So like that's been come up. That's been coming up with bunch. Now they have to be ready to handle that adversity, right? That
mhm.
kind of that part of it. So we'll see how much that plays into it as well.
Yeah, it should be a really good environment. They're wearing these new gold jerseys that they have for the first time. Haven't seen those since 2002. They painted the end zones gold, so they're really
Wow.
bringing out all the stops for this first game. So got to get a win. Sorry, it's going to be against the team you cover.
Hey, I don't lose sleep if they win. I don't lose sleep if they lose. I don't sleep better if they win. So fine by me. Either way.
Okay, great. Thanks. Well, then we'll go ahead and take this one. Thank you so much for joining me, Josh. I appreciate all the
Absolutely.
insight. And now the 50/50 raffle beneficiary, Feeding Louisiana, and our guest, the executive director of Feeding Louisiana, Pat Van Berklio. We're joined now by the executive director of Feeding Louisiana, Pat Van Berklio. Really appreciate you joining us on the Saints podcast and looking forward to the 50/50 raffle this weekend, starting the season strong. Can you just tell me a little bit about Feeding Louisiana and just how much of this greater New Orleans area you touch?
Feeding Louisiana is really the state association of the 5 food banks. And so what Feeding Louisiana does is really kind of statewide efforts on policy and government affairs and fundraising. So our 5 food banks include Second Harvest Food Bank of Greater New Orleans and Acadiana. And so they represent about 52% cover about 52% of the state of Louisiana in food distribution. And then we have Greater Baton Rouge, which services 11 parishes in the Greater Baton Rouge area, Central Louisiana, Northeast in Monroe, and Northwest in Shreveport. So we food banks, of course, cover all 64 parishes. And when you think about a food bank, a lot of people think about their church pantries or the little food drive they do. But if you really come to a food bank, it really looks more like a Costco than it does a food pantry, because we are mobilizing thousands of pounds of food on a daily basis going out to your church pantry or community pantry, and lots of food banks do their own distribution. So it's a huge process of getting food out to those people who need us the most.
So part of it is getting the food out, but how do you get the food in?
So there's really kind of 3 kind of ways that food comes in. There's a program called the Emergency Assistance Fund program, and that's a USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. They buy excess food from, there may be a price control on lentils, and so they need to buy lentils, and so they buy a whole bunch of lentils, and they don't have a place to give it, so they give it to the food bank. So at some food banks, up to about 40% of their food comes from the USDA on trying to get that food from farmers, and then it gives it out to us, to our neighbors. Other big thing is our donations. So everyone knows a food drive, but that's really a very small part of our food drives are a very small part of the food distribution. But Rouse's, Albertsons, Whole Foods, those corporate donations also come in. And then your dollars that you give when you give $5 to a food bank, or $25 or $5,000, they're actually buying bulk food also to get out to neighbors.
And that's where the 50/50 raffle comes in, and the proceeds from there, they
That's
will
correct.
benefit what you're able to do there with Feeding Louisiana. So how cool is it to be associated with the Saints here and be a part of this raffle?
We are really thrilled to be partnering with the Saints this year. We know the dollars that are being raised through this 50/50 raffle. We're making another commitment that the dollars that we use are going to stay here in Louisiana, that we're going to buy local produce and proteins from people here in Louisiana. So hopefully it's an economic boom for those farmers, and then turn around and give it to the neighbors, what we call our clients, our neighbors. I will say that we've seen, there's been a decrease in government assistance for food, and there's been an increase in people coming to the food banks. And what we're seeing in the food banks right now are kind of more episodic people. These are people who, gosh, their car broke down and they had to take money from their food budget to pay for that car. So they're in assistance. They need assistance. So we may see them this month, and then we may not see them again for 6 months to a year. So, the face of food banking is always changing, and who needs assistance and at what time. Now kids are back at school. They may be needing more assistance to help, after school programs and those kind of things. So we're really pleased that Feeding Louisiana and our 5 food banks can help so many people throughout the state.
About how many meals are provided by the food banks to help?
I knew and that's a really tough question when we try to say how much food in a meal and those kind of things. So, for every $1 that we raise, we probably serve about 4 meals. So, when we hit that, 100,000 50-50 mark this weekend, we're gonna take $50,000 and provide a lot of meals for a whole lot of people.
Yeah, it does seem like you do so much for the community, and investing back into it with the buying from the local areas is going to be huge as well. What is that tie like? Just knowing what you're doing and providing every day for people here in Louisiana.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we've been very successful working with local farmers, and these are really small row farmers. I mean, there's not a whole lot of big farmers unless you're doing soybean and sugar cane and cotton. Of course, that doesn't come to food banks. But there are, mom and pop farmers out there who have a real job, and then they farm on the weekends, and they may have a half an acre that they're growing okra on it, and then they don't know what to do with it. But they've been in the business of farming, generations, and so it's in their blood to do that. And so we've kind of opened up a market to buy that local produce from these small independent farmers who need assistance. And so they're giving that food. And then the clients that we serve, of course, love that fresh produce. A lot of times when you think about food banking, you're thinking about canned foods and cereal, but we're really trying to get more produce in the hands of the people. Again, food is, sustains a lot more than just hunger.
Yeah.
It also is healthy and should be enjoyable. And so we want to have our clients to have an enjoyable and healthy experience when they get food from the food banks.
Well, if it comes from Louisiana, I'm sure it's good food, because that's what we're known for around here.
That is right. It really is.
Well, going into the Saints season, being a part of this relationship with them in the raffle, I got to ask you, are you a Saints fan?
Well, I am a big Saints fan. I mean, I've been in Louisiana for about 35 years. And of course, well, we love the Saints. I mean, and as we celebrate 20 years of Katrina, I will tell you, it was the spirit of the Saints and the movement of the Saints that I really think brought our region back. I mean, that can-do spirit that happened with the Saints and their willingness to continue playing, and not only playing, but succeeding during that time, I think gave us all a real sense of pride in the state of Louisiana that we can all make it. And again, we can all help people who need food by donating to that 50-50 raffle that's coming up this weekend too.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate the time and you talking to us a little bit about Feeding Louisiana, what you guys do, and everything that you provide. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank y'all for including us, and we're real proud to be a partner. So go Saints.
Great stuff in today's episode. Couple news and notes heading into the game on Sunday. Left guard Trevor Penning and defensive end Chase Young are both out for the game. Penning is still dealing with the foot injury, and Young had a calf injury come up in practice this week, although head coach Kellen Moore said it's nothing major. So we'll continue to check in on both of those two players' status throughout next week and see if they're going to be a go in week 2. Good news, though. Cornerback Alante Taylor has no designation for the game on Sunday, which means he is good to go, and he will be playing week 1, which is great news. He said a couple days ago that he's worked really hard to get back on the field, and he is ready to go. We are also ready to go because it is finally here. The Saints' first game of the regular season, Sunday. Arizona Cardinals in the Dome, 12 o'clock. I'll see you there.
Thanks for listening to the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets. Join us 3 times per week on NewOrleansSaints.com the Saints mobile app, or you can download the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time, right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets.